In 1992, David Lynch released one of his most interesting and most controversial films, Twin Peaks: Fire Walk With Me. Retrospectively, it seems strange to call it controversial, as now it is regarded as one of his best works. But when this thing came out, people hated it. It effectively killed the series, with Lynch saying it was as dead as a doornail.
I'm hoping that someday people would take another look at that film.
I think it's safe to say he got what he wanted. The film kicks off with two FBI agents, one of them played by Chris Isaac, investigating a murder in a small town. It begins very abruptly with awkward dialogue and Lynch's deadpan style of comedy.
I got a girl that's been murdered, 17 years old!
It's a nitpick, but to me, this whole passage seems a little unnatural and clunky. Originally, Kyle MacLachlan was intended to take up the position of Agent Chester Desmond as Dale Cooper, and it seems as if the dialogue feels this absence. There are multiple references to coffee.
You can start that fresh pot of coffee.
Well, I'm gonna make myself a cup of Good Morning America. Y'all want some?
Details of the murders that Cooper knows so intricately.
Under the ring finger of the left hand.
And finally Desmond's sudden disappearance, which holds no bearing over the rest of the story. Other than this small nitpick, the introductory act of the film serves its purpose wholeheartedly. In fact, it is tremendously funny.
Teresa Banks had a ring. Any idea what happened to it?
We got a phone here. It's got a little ring.
Though soon, the film would take a very different turn. Not yet, though.
Gordon, it's 10:10 a.m. on February 16th.
Cooper is introduced to the film in a similar manner to his first appearance in season 1.
Diane, 11:30 a.m., February 24th. Entering the town of Twin Peaks.
The same music, similar dialogue. I just thought that was interesting. And then, suddenly, David Bowie appears for 5 minutes in what I'd describe as both the strangest and most important scene in the entire series. Much of what we would see in 2017's The Return leads us back to this moment.
I'm not going to talk about Judy.
In 1989, you showed up at FBI headquarters and said you'd met Judy.
And in fact, the whole film sets itself up for The Return, really. It makes sense when hearing that Lynch's original plan was to make 2 more films, a trilogy, but due to the film's commercial and critical failure, it was scrapped. I would have loved to have seen more of Bowie as Philip Jeffries, but oh well, the missing pieces gave us a little bit at least.
What? Oh, Mr. Jeffries! Oh, the shit that come out of my ass. I know the man!
Now, here is where the film diverts itself. Similar to the beginning of the film, there is an abrupt start to a different story. Laura Palmer's story. Now, this was where Lynch originally lost a lot of people. From here on out, the film is immensely terrifying, disturbing, and serious. It is unlike anything we had seen from Twin Peaks up to that point. It is Lynch exploring themes of family, trauma, addiction, abuse, and just about any other horrible suffering that a person could possibly experience. It shifts the paradigm of Bob as a character from a supernatural superkiller to what appears to be a metaphor of family abuse and trauma. I can't help but think that if the film was more successful originally, Cheryl Lee would have had an entirely different career. Her performance in this film is just unforgettable. Really, it is tragic, haunting, and mesmerizing. And sometimes Lynch's dialogue doesn't do her expressive acting any favors. But somehow she makes it work. Now this is where the horror of the film truly takes off. We find out that Bob has been, in Laura's words, having her since she was 12. And the film spends a lot of time building up the horror of her slowly realizing that Bob is in fact her father.
No, it's not him. No, it's not him. It's not him. No, it's not him. No.
There's a scene in which the Palmer family are eating dinner together, and it is one of the most disturbing scenes in the entire film, really. It begins with a slow panning wide shot of Leland alone at the dinner table, staring blankly. Laura arrives and he lectures her about her hands being dirty. A somewhat normal thing for a parent to say, but it's the chilling delivery of his words, Laura's reaction, and Sarah Palmer's horror that make it all so unbearable to watch.
Leland, leave her alone. Don't do that. She doesn't like that.
How do you know what she likes?
The shots linger on for longer than they should, and it all adds to what Lynch does so well. Twisted American suburbia. Another scene that highlights Lynch's tension building is Laura and Donna in the pink room. First off, the music is awesome. As we're watching Laura's mental collapse, the music rises so loud to the point where subtitles are needed to even understand the dialogue. This and the rogue camera shots create such a chaos and dysphoria where the viewer has no idea really what is going on, and when Laura explodes it is all the more powerful. The same effect is achieved when Laura and Leland are ambushed by Mike on the road. Voices screaming, cars beeping, and the music all combine to give the viewer such a sensory overload that you feel the same erratic terror that the characters are feeling. These moments are also paired with unbelievably intimate scenes between Laura and her peers, like her interaction with the log lady outside of the roadhouse.
When this kind of fire starts, it is very hard to put out.
Or the dialogue with Bobby, Donna, and James. The emotional drama is so well crafted that by the time we reach the third act, everything is so perfectly placed to enact Laura's death in the most painful and gripping way possible. The film's climax is based on the entire mystery of the first 2 seasons of the show, so it was important to nail it. And nail it they do. It is the most grand and dramatic moment in the entirety of Twin Peaks, in my opinion. The flashing lights, the frantic screams of Laura and Ronette and Leland, and Mozart's Requiem blowing through your ears. It is a climax that not only lives up to the rest of the series, but elevates it to another level. The final scene of the film, for me, is one of the most powerful scenes I've seen in any film. It's just a simple close-up of Laura, both laughing and crying, and as the camera slowly pans out, the credits roll. Laura has finally freed herself of Bob and her father, and is free of all the pain that has overtaken her.